It was a quiet Sunday morning, the kind where everything feels a little too perfect. I was sitting on the couch, half watching a rerun on TV and sipping my coffee when I noticed something strange. My sister, Emily, was staring at me. Not the kind of glance you throw at someone in passing, but a long, steady gaze like she was trying to read my mind, or like she already knew something I didn't. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe she was just spaced out. But the way her eyes locked onto mine, almost studying me, made my stomach twist in a way I couldn't explain. Emily and I have always had a good relationship. She's a few years younger, and growing up, we shared everything, from secrets to snacks, and even heartbreaks. So when I saw that look on her face, it felt out of place. Wrong. I asked her if something was bothering her, but she quickly looked away and forced a smile. Nothing, she said. Just tired. But I knew my sister better than that. Something was off. That entire day, her behavior was strange. She was quiet, distant, and kept checking her phone nervously. At one point, I caught her taking a photo of me when she thought I wasn't looking. When I asked about it, she laughed it off, said she was just messing around for her Snapchat streak. But there was no notification, no streak, and no story posted. Just silence. And a sinking feeling that something was building up behind the scenes. Later that evening, I walked into the kitchen and saw her quickly shove her phone into her pocket. I didn't say anything right away, but something told me this wasn't just my imagination. I wasn't sure what was going on, but whatever it was, it felt personal. Deeply personal. That night, I barely slept. Her behavior haunted me. I kept playing the day over and over in my head, wondering if I had missed something, some clue, some warning sign. Then, the next morning, I decided to trust my gut. While she was out on a walk, I checked the family tablet she often used. My hands were shaking, heart pounding in my chest, because part of me hoped I wouldn't find anything. But what I saw shattered everything I thought I knew about my life. Photos, messages, and a secret that I was never meant to uncover. And at the center of it all, my own sister and someone I trusted more than anyone. I sat there, frozen. I couldn't believe it. My world didn't just crack, it broke wide open. Everything suddenly made sense, the strange stares, the nervous energy, the guilt hiding in her eyes. And just when I thought I had seen it all, something happened that made the situation even worse, something I'll never forget. What she said next changed everything. I stood in the kitchen, staring at the tablet like it was some kind of ghost. My heart was racing, palms sweaty, and I could feel my stomach drop lower with every photo I scrolled through. There were messages too, some recent, some going back weeks. The most confusing part was who they were with. My girlfriend. The same person I had been dating for almost 2 years. The same girl who had dinner at our house last weekend, laughing with my family like everything was normal. And now here she was, secretly messaging my own sister. At first, I thought maybe it was something innocent. Maybe they were planning a surprise for me. Maybe it was something silly. But the more I read, the more the pieces started falling into place, and not in a good way. The way they talked to each other wasn't friendly. It was personal. Emotional. And a little too familiar. There were late-night messages, things shared that I didn't even know about my girlfriend, and even some pictures I knew I never took. My head was spinning. I didn't know who to be more upset with, my girlfriend for betraying me, or my sister for hiding it from me. Emily had always been the one I trusted most. She had seen me at my worst, helped me through breakups, stood by me when no one else did. And now she was the one keeping this secret? I didn't know how to feel. Anger. Confusion. Hurt. It all blended together. I wanted to scream, to confront someone, to ask why. But I didn't. Not yet. I needed to be sure. I needed to understand what this was before I did something I couldn't undo. The whole day, I acted normal. I pretended I hadn't seen anything. I talked to Emily like nothing had changed, even though everything had. She noticed I was quieter than usual, but I blamed it on being tired. Inside, though, I was watching everything. Every move. Every glance. Waiting for a crack in the story. A sign. That night, when she sat beside me on the couch, I could feel the tension between us. She looked like she wanted to say something. I could tell something was eating her up inside, but she didn't speak. I waited. I gave her a chance. And then, she said my name, very softly, almost like she was about to confess something. But what came out of her mouth next was not what I expected at all. She looked at me with a heaviness in her eyes I hadn't seen before. Her voice was low, almost trembling. "There's something I need to tell you," she said, barely above a whisper. My chest tightened. I nodded slowly, waiting for the truth I thought I already knew. But instead of admitting anything about my girlfriend, Emily said something completely different. "I think someone's been following me." I froze. That wasn't what I expected at all. I blinked, trying to figure out if she was changing the subject or if this was another piece of the puzzle I hadn't considered. "What do you mean?" I asked, doing my best to stay calm. "Like, online or in person?" She looked down at her hands, twisting her fingers nervously. "Both, I think. It started a few weeks ago." I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure. But then I started getting weird messages from a private account. And then yesterday, when I was out, I noticed the same car parked in front of the store when I came out. Twice in one day. I didn't know what to believe. Part of me wanted to be concerned for her safety, but another part couldn't shake what I had seen on that tablet. I kept thinking, was this real? Or was it a distraction? A cover for something else? At the same time, another angle started forming in my head. What if there was someone else involved? Someone who knew what was going on between Emily and my girlfriend? Could this person following her be connected to the messages I saw? The more I thought about it, the deeper the rabbit hole seemed to go. Over the next few days, I started paying closer attention. Emily's phone never left her side. She would walk out of the room to answer texts. My girlfriend, too, had been acting strange, suddenly overly affectionate, checking in more often than usual. It all felt fake. Forced. Like they were trying to keep something from slipping through the cracks. And then I noticed something that pushed everything even further. A photo frame in Emily's room, an old picture of the three of us at the beach. But behind that photo, tucked into the back, was something that didn't belong there. A folded note. I didn't open it right away. I just stared at it, heart pounding. Because deep down, I knew this note wasn't meant for me. And whatever was written inside, could blow everything wide open. I stood there, frozen, staring at the note like it was a live wire. My fingers trembled as I reached out, slowly pulling it from behind the picture frame. I didn't open it right away. My heart was pounding so loudly I could barely hear anything else. I looked around Emily's room, everything suddenly feeling unfamiliar. The quiet hum of her desk lamp, the faint scent of her perfume, all of it now layered with tension I couldn't shake. I finally unfolded the paper. It wasn't long, just a few lines. But those words hit me like a punch to the chest. "He can never know. Promise me. This stays between us." There was no name. No date. But the handwriting was clearly my girlfriend's. I recognized the way she curled her R's. I had seen it in birthday cards, little sticky notes she used to leave for me. There was no denying it. I backed away, heart racing, head spinning with questions I couldn't answer. What exactly was she hiding? What did she mean by "he can never know"? Know what? The betrayal was no longer just a suspicion, it was real. It was in my hands. But there was more to this than just betrayal. This was being covered up, carefully. And Emily was part of it. That night, I couldn't sleep. every time I closed my eyes, I saw that note. I kept replaying every moment from the past few weeks, every glance, every awkward silence, every sudden change in behavior. My girlfriend's fake laughs. Emily's nervous smiles. The way they avoided eye contact when they were in the same room. The next morning, things hit another level. My girlfriend showed up unannounced, said she just wanted to spend the day with me. But something in her energy felt off. She was too cheerful, too eager. And then I saw it, her phone lit up with a message. I didn't mean to look, but the name that popped up made my stomach drop. It was Emily. I didn't say anything, just watched her tuck the phone away like nothing happened. But that was it. I knew whatever they were hiding was still going on. And I was standing in the middle of it, trying not to fall apart. Later that evening, I made a choice. I was going to confront them. Both of them. Together. And what happened that night would change everything? That evening, I told them both to come over. I didn't explain why. I kept it casual, said I just wanted to hang out. My voice was steady, but inside, I was shaking. My girlfriend, Sarah, walked in first. She brought snacks like she always used to, trying to play the role. A few minutes later, Emily came in, glancing at me like she already knew something was coming. The air was thick with tension, like everyone could feel the silence before a storm. We sat in the living room, the three of us, pretending to watch TV. Nobody spoke much. I waited for the right moment. Then I turned off the volume and looked straight at them. I need to ask you both something, I said. Emily stiffened. Sarah's smile faded. I pulled the note out of my pocket, unfolded it, and placed it on the table. Care to explain this? Emily's eyes widened. Sarah reached for it, but I pulled it back. No more lies, I said quietly. Just tell me the truth. For a moment, no one said anything. Emily looked pale, like the blood had drained from her face. Then Sarah spoke. It's not what you think, she said, almost in a whisper. But that's when Emily cut in. He was threatening us, she said. Her voice cracked as she spoke. That's what I was trying to tell you the other night. It's not about me and Sarah, it's about him. My head jerked toward her. Who's he? Emily swallowed hard. Mark. I blinked. Mark was Sarah's ex. The guy she dated before me. I had only met him once in passing, and I didn't think much of it. What does he have to do with any of this? I asked. Sarah finally spoke up, her voice low and shaky. He found out about us. About me dating you, and staying close to Emily. I stared at them, confused. Why would that matter? Emily glanced at Sarah, then said the words that hit me like a punch to the gut. Because I dated him too. After you two broke up the first time. I didn't know they were still talking. And when I ended it, he lost it. He started threatening me. And Sarah. The room started spinning. My mind raced to connect the pieces. The messages. The tension. The feeling of being watched. It wasn't just guilt or betrayal. There was something darker happening in the background. Something neither of them wanted to admit because it had spiraled too far. Why didn't you just tell me? I asked, feeling my voice break. Sarah looked away. Emily was already tearing up. Because it would have destroyed everything, she said. And now it might be too late. And just as I was about to respond, a sharp knock hit the door. 3 loud knocks. None of us moved. Sarah's face turned white. Emily stood up slowly, like she knew exactly who it was. The past wasn't done with us yet. And now, it was right outside. The knocks came again. Louder. Slower. Each one like a warning. I looked at both of them. Emily's hands were shaking, and Sarah's eyes were locked on the door like she already knew who was behind it. I stood up, walked over slowly, heart pounding so hard it felt like it echoed through the room. I looked through the peephole. It was Mark. He stood there with a strange smirk on his face, hands in his pockets like he wasn't about to turn our night upside down. I hesitated for a second, then opened the door just enough to step outside and close it behind me. I wasn't going to let him inside, not until I knew what he wanted. He looked at me like we were old friends. "Long time, man," he said casually. I didn't smile. "What are you doing here?" He shrugged. "Just checking in. Thought maybe we should have a talk. You know, before things get out of hand." I kept my voice low. "You've been threatening them. Messaging my sister. Following her." His smirk faded. "I just wanted the truth. She lied. Sarah lied. I gave everything to both of them. And now I'm the bad guy?" I took a step closer. "You're showing up at my door in the middle of the night, and you think you're the victim?" Mark's expression darkened. "You don't know what they did." Behind me, the door creaked open. Emily stepped out. "You need to leave," she said firmly. Mark ignored her. "Tell him, Emily. Tell him what you were doing behind his back." I turned to look at her, but she didn't flinch. "I made a mistake," she said quietly. "But I was never playing games. I was scared of you. And I should have told the truth sooner." That's when Sarah stepped out too. "Mark, it's over. You can't scare us anymore." Mark's eyes narrowed. For a second, I thought he might lunge. But instead, he pulled something from his pocket. My heart stopped until I saw what it was. A flash drive. He held it out to me. "If you really want the truth," he said, "watch this." He dropped it on the porch and walked away without another word. Back inside, we sat in silence. I plugged the flash drive into my laptop with shaky hands. The folder opened. Dozens of video files. One was labeled with my name. I clicked it. It was a video of Emily and Sarah. Together. In a cafe. But not in any kind of romantic or secretive way. They were talking. Planning. And then I heard Sarah's voice, "We need to tell him before Mark twists it. We owe him that." Emily nodded. "He deserves to know the truth." Turns out, they had been trying to protect me. The messages, the secrecy, it was all about shielding me from what Mark had been doing. He had recordings of all of us. He had been manipulating every moment. And yet, the twist? One video showed something none of us expected. Mark wasn't alone. He had help. From someone in my own family. I sat there staring at the screen, unable to breathe. The final video wasn't just shocking, it felt like betrayal on a whole different level. The clip showed Mark in a living room I knew too well. My uncle's place. He had been the one helping him. The same uncle who always acted close to our family, always around, especially after my dad passed. I couldn't understand why, until I saw the rest of the video. They were talking about money. About getting something from me. Something tied to the property I had inherited. The truth hit like a freight train. This was never just about Emily or Sarah. Mark had found a way in through them, hoping to tear things apart and take advantage while I was too distracted to see the bigger picture. My uncle had helped him, feeding him information and keeping tabs through casual family conversations. All of it was calculated. When the video ended, everything was quiet. I looked at Emily and Sarah. They weren't perfect. Mistakes were made, especially in hiding things. But they were never trying to hurt me. They were trying to fix a mess they didn't create, one they were pulled into. The next few days were heavy. We brought everything to the police. I showed them the flash drive, the messages, the videos. And finally, justice started to move. Mark was arrested for stalking, blackmail, and other charges. My uncle? He was exposed too. It turned out he had debts, and Mark had promised him a share if things went the way they planned. It wasn't easy, but after all of it, something shifted in me. I had spent weeks feeling like my life was falling apart. Like everyone was against me. But the truth was more layered than that. There was betrayal, yes, but there was also loyalty, fear, and people trying to make things right in their own way. Emily and I had long talks after that. Real ones. We rebuilt trust slowly. Sarah and I ended things, not because of the past, but because too much damage had been done. We cared about each other, but some lines, once crossed, leave scars that don't fade easily. In the end, I wasn't left broken. I was left wiser. Sometimes the people you suspect the most are just scared. And sometimes the ones you trust the most are the ones pulling strings behind the curtain. Family secrets, hidden messages, and emotional betrayal, these aren't just headlines. They're real, and they hurt. But they also teach you something deep about loyalty, truth, and listening to your gut. This story wasn't just about infidelity. It was about uncovering what's hidden in plain sight, and how even the smallest moment, like a strange look from your sister, can lead to a truth you never saw coming. And if I've learned anything, it's this: always pay attention to what's unspoken. Because sometimes, what shakes you the most is what was right in front of you all along. 42.